Welcome back to the HB channel. My name is Hans Beekhuizen and in this video we look at the NuForce Micro DAC3 DA converter. The Micro DAC3 is a very small box measuring about 7 by 4 by 2 centimeters, made of an anodized aluminum tubing profile. The PCBs are mounted to the rear plate that is screwed onto the housing. Here you'll find an asynchronous USB input, a stereo analog output on 2 RCAs and even a digital SPDIF output on RCA. There's no power input, it uses the power from the USB connection. The front is screwed on as well and holds a 3.5mm headphone socket and a volume control that doubles as a power switch. It supports sampling rates up to 96 kHz at a maximum bit depth of 24 bits. The build quality is fantastic. Since SMD miniature components are used, it was hard to identify components inside, but for instance the volume control is a good quality TOCOS potentiometer. The manufacturer claims double jitter reduction oversampling circuits and a capacitor-free audio path. The website also promises limited DSD support, but that's highly unlikely given the 24-bit 96 kHz sampling ceiling, since the standard DSD over PCM protocol needs a 24-bit 192 kHz. What the manufacturer means is that you can use the FUBAR 2000 software player on a computer and have it convert DSD to PCM at 2496. This way any DA converter has a limited DSD support and many more software players than only FUBAR 2000 are able to convert DSD to PCM. Connecting the Micro DAC3 to computers is effortless. Given the 2496 ceiling, USB audio profile 1 is used, meaning that theoretically all computers, tablets and smartphones will work with it without the need for a driver. Connecting to an amp is also effortless, and a nice touch is that when you connect a headphone to the front, the output to the amp is muted. I always evaluate the device under test in 3 sets. Normally I would have started listening to the Micro DAC3 on set 3, given its price. But due to circumstances I now started with set 2. I expected to hear the normal artifacts you hear when you connect a low-cost DA converter to a higher quality set. Some sharpness in highs, sibilance control lacking, deep end lacking, limited stereo image and so on. But not so in this case. Now listen carefully, I'm not saying that the Micro DAC3 performs on par with DA converters in this class. But it certainly performs better than could be expected given its price. The point is that within that budget you do get limitations and artifacts. In this case they are hidden extremely well. The designer must have been very skilled, very lucky, or even both. Of course, openness is limited, and especially the range between 100 and 200 Hz was muffled compared to set 2 level products. It results in a slightly warm, pleasant sound that you can listen to all day without fatigue. Switching to a set 2 level DA converter gives you a deeper insight in what develops musically, which is more fascinating, but it will come at a 6 to 10-fold price. On set 3 these artifacts were absolutely inaudible, which makes the Micro DAC3 a very good converter in this set. Even in my top set 1 it remained very pleasant to listen to. Although the limitations became obvious immediately, they were in no way irritating. No harsh highs, nasal mids or limited lows. The subwoofer in my set 1 is set to only reproduce 35 Hz down to where it ends, which is 16 Hz according to REL, and it was addressed properly by the Micro DAC3. I know far more expensive DA converters that perform less. It's not so long ago that a decent sounding DA converter would set you back $1,000. The Micro DAC3 cost 85% less and might sound better than many €1,000 DA converters of say a decade ago. The micro DAC3 sets you back €149, that's even less than the VAT, European sales tax, over £1,000. Find yourself a cheap laptop, buy a micro DAC3, install software like the foobar, follow the instructions that can be found on the NuForce website, rip your CDs and be surprised about the quality. Yes, I know, use a headless Mac Mini, replace the hard disk for an SSD, buy a copy of Audirvana and a high-end DA converter and you get real high-end audio, but that's not the point here. Amazon offers sub €200 laptops, so you could be playing for under €350, at a level you could only have been dreaming about a decade ago. This is the first of a number of small affordable DA converters and it impressed me heavily. My name is Hans Bekenhuizen and I thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up and tell the rest of the web about it. If you have questions or remarks, go to my Facebook page or use the contact link on the hbproject.com. There you find the written review. Links are below this video in YouTube. See you soon.